Hello Flinks. Today I wanted to show you how you can use the Echolocator here as a creative looper. So with the recent update to the Echolocator by Erika Sins, they added dub delay, which means you will only be recording when you open up the dry wet controls, and the mix can only be set from the settings. So to use the dub delay, you have to go to settings here, then to effect, and then you scroll down until you meet dub and dub mix. So as you can see, it's turned on and the mix is set to 50% here. And this is just how you turn on the dub delay. So the next thing you want to do is you turn everything to the right, because this is where it becomes creative. So first we want to turn everything off just to know where the settings are at. So I'm just going to turn everything, all the modulation and shimmer, sorry, not to the right, to the left. And pitch shift can be in the middle. It's not going to do anything anyway because the shimmer is off here. Just going to put the feedback off, the dry wet off, and I'm going to keep the ping pong in the middle for now. So now we have basically an initial patch, and as you can see here on the Novation that I have sitting above, I have set my clock to 40 here, which means it's rather slow. And to synchronize your echolocator, you have to use a MIDI cable in the back here, and then you have to hold the back button and press tap tempo. Now that means it's now synchronized with the Novation circuit here. So the next thing you want to do is, as you can see when I turn the time knob here, you get how much it's synchronizing with the beat here. So for a looper you want a long time, of course, and the longest time you can do here is 2 to 1. But unfortunately I think this one is actually bugged, because it's only giving me around 11 seconds instead of what I think it should be 12. And also when I run the sequence on the Novation here, the bar should fill up 4 times here, because that's the beats, because it's twice as slow as the tempo that's set on the Novation here. But every time the delay comes in around here instead of at the next beat. So I think there's a bug here. So instead of the slowest, we're going to use the second slowest, but actually works. So it's 1.5, which gives us a 9-second delay, which is still really long for delay. And here I didn't run into any issues. If you use the longest delay, you're not only going to have issues with synchronization if you want to use that, but it's also creating some weird offset on the ping pong and the modulation settings, which creates a kind of uneven sound, which can be interesting if you want to use it in a creative way, but personally I didn't find it that useful. So yeah, as I said, we use 2 divided by 1D, and that means we have just a slightly shorter loop to go on. The slowest my Novation circuit can do is 40 beats per minute. If you use some gear that can go slower, you can actually get longer delay times here. So for example, if I connect the echolocator to Bitwig, and I set the BPM to 20, which is the lowest I can do there, you get around 15.2 seconds, I think it was, around that delay time. But again, I think that's I think there's some issues going on with the really long delay times. So I would suggest not going lower than 40 dB, and the 221D here, which is a 9-second loop, which is still quite nice. So now that we can have a loop going, so let me set some feedback, and as I said, it will only record when you open up the try wet button here. Oh, and above I have my synthesizer here just to do some easy bleeps, so you will actually be able to hear the ping pong going on later. So as you can hear, it's a rather long loop now of 9 seconds. Now what's interesting here to make it into a creative looper is especially, I think, the ping pong here. So if I turn that all the way to the left, the first delay will always start at the left, and then the next one will be on the right. So basically every loop will be drifting from left to right, and if you play something later during the second delay, both the delays or loops will be offset from each other, so you can create some nice drifting sounds that go from left to right, which is really nice, especially if you use longer sounds with lots of reverb or like pads. Then you can almost create something like the Cosmos by Soma, so that's pretty cool. So let's record something again, and again I'm just using simple bleeps, so you can really hear the stereo effect going on with the ping pong. And again, it's also nice here that you can actually see on which side the bounces is, and you can, because I played a longer sequence here, you can also see that it's drifting, even though the sounds are not really good for it. It was just to show the principle that it bounces around, so if you get some better sounds for this, it will sound nicer. Now the next thing you can do is also you can add modulation here. So let's add a little bit of that. And I'm gonna make the loop a little bit shorter here. So I'm just gonna, where's 1 to 1, there we go. So just so you can hear what's going on faster instead of having to wait a long time every time. Oh yeah, the modulation is a little bit harder to hear here, but still you can add some extra movement. Now the next thing you can also do, which is really nice, I think, is you have a filter here, which you can use either to filter in post, which means you're cutting off sound from all the loops, or you can use it in pre, which means you will shave a little bit of the loop every time. So especially for more ambient type of sounds, it's nice to play with the feedback or the filter in post, so your loops will gradually fade away, so you can really build up your loops, which without going crazy. And there's also a compressor in here which can come in handy if you like. Now the next part, which really takes it to the next level, especially if you're a guitar player, is if you use a MIDI controller here. So what I've done here is you can, I'm not sure if you can, but I hope you can see that I've set these lights to gradually fade away. So when I push this button, I'm basically controlling the dry wet button, and the one that's most lit up will send a message on MIDI channel 77, which is the dry wet here. And you can also, from the settings, if you go to MIDI, you can see what all the MIDI controls here are. So that's really easy to do. So if I press this one, I will basically tell the dry wet button to be here. If I push the little bit more faded one, I will send less sound. And then with this, I will send even less sound into the loop. So basically, if I push the one on the left, I will record at full volume. But if I press the third one here, I will record at a lower volume. And when I'm using these, I have the dry wet button on 0. So it's not recording anything by itself. So again, I'm just gonna keep the loop short to demo it here. So do a little bit feedback. So yeah, it's as I will let you hear now. You can hear the sounds because the mix is on 50%, but they're not going to be repeated because I have the dry wet button off, and I have set these to be on a tap or a hold. So only when I push these buttons here, they will send the MIDI message. So if I push it now, you can hear that it's suddenly getting recorded. And if I play more, these won't be recorded because I'm not holding the button. So if I set a higher feedback now to keep the loop going, you can hear the loop keeps going, and this is at basically full feedback, so this will keep going forever. So if I want to add something at a low volume, I can press the third button here. So you could hear the initial sound was still loud, and that's because the mix is at 50, so it doesn't take into account the dry wet control, but you can hear in the loop that the higher tones that I played with the lower recording volume are now playing at the lower volume in the loop. So this is a really nice trick to be able to turn the feedback. It's gonna disappear. So this is a nice way to create interesting layers where you can add subtle details at a lower volume. So instead of playing with the feedback, you can also just add stuff on a lower volume. And then the next thing here is I have 2 more buttons, and with these buttons I can control the feedback without touching it. So I've set this one up to be, and the feedback is MIDI 78, by the way. So I have this button set to basically every time I press it, it will send a different message. So the first time I press it, it basically tells the feedback to keep on going forever. The second time it will slowly fade away, and the third time it will fade away faster. So again, this gives you a nice control, especially on the guitar, where you don't have hands-free to play with the Echolocator. So instead you can control it with a MIDI controller here. So as you can see, I'm just gonna turn these both off. And now when I push the button, it will send 97, so it says it's right here. So if I hold this to record, you can hear it's getting repeated. And when I press this twice, it will start fading away because now it thinks it's right here. And when I push it again, it will turn up the feedback to here again. So if it wasn't faded away, it would keep going again. So again, this is a nice way to remotely control the echolocator and create ambient loops. So I hope this was useful to you, and see you the next time.